When you say that they are pro-vaccine, it seems as though Bobby and Trump are casting doubt on the efficacy of the vaccine, which makes Americans very nervous. So that's the problem that we're having.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that. And it's interesting because, I don't know if you saw, 60 Minutes just did a piece about the vaccine injury compensation program.
Yeah.
So people that have had vaccine injuries can be compensated if they can prove it, and they have paid out $5.4 billion for vaccine injuries. So my question is, can we do better?
Is that all vaccines or just the COVID vaccine?
It's all vaccines.
It's all vaccines.
As far as I know.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Okay.
But so the question is, yes to vaccines. Yes, they are important, and they are an important part of our health care. Can we do better? Can we make them safer? Can we make them, can we listen to parents who say, my child got the vaccine and changed, and stopped hitting markers, stopped developing the way they were developing? Can we listen to people when they say that instead of saying,
You're
crazy?
I agree with that, but you want to listen. But you want to listen to scientists.
All right, family. So look, I said this before and I'll say it again. The second you start asking real questions in this country, the establishment labels you dangerous. That's exactly what we saw when Cheryl Hines went on The View and tried to have a level-headed conversation about her husband, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and right on cue, the cackling lunch ladies did what they always do. Gang up, twist the facts, and throw emotional buzzwords at anyone who challenges their narrative, not because Cheryl said anything outrageous, but because she dared to defend a man who isn't lockstep with their agenda. Now, when you really look at it, she's basically saying the thing that scientists do. When you start with even being able to substantiate your reason to do research, what we're taught in biology class and what we're taught in science class is the scientific approach, right? The scientific method, to be exact, which starts with a hypothesis. So what's wrong with asking a question and then based on understanding the vaccine, and then you turn around from the hypothesis, have your observation based on the response of the vaccine taking place, which the more questions then prones more research. But she's basically saying, let's not absolve the individuals who are taking this vaccine and experiencing certain things based on observations, based on what they're seeing. Let's take that more in consideration to be more effective when it comes to vaccines. What's wrong with that? She never said vaccines was wrong or clearly obliterated the idea of or destroyed the idea of even having vaccines in its entirety. She just said we can always improve. That's what I'm getting from it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Now, I want to get to the reaction of the actual situation and talk about the entire conversation because it revolved around vaccines, a topic that apparently no one was allowed to touch unless you're reading from the government approved teleprompter, because Cheryl simply pointed out a basic fact that the vaccine injury compensation program, a government fund that has paid out over 5.4 billion to people who've been harmed by vaccines. That's not a conspiracy. That's not Facebook disinformation. That's straight from the same federal system these women pretend to worship. And yet the moment Cheryl brought that up, you could feel the tension spike between the lunch ladies and Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s wife, because truth has the effect on people who are used to hiding behind slogans instead of data. Check it out.
Drink caffeine when I was pregnant. So to say, hey, consult your doctor before you take this, I agree with that. And I think that's okay for moms to hear.
Cheryl?
Yeah, go ahead.
Now,
all right.
I am, this is not your fight, really, to be fighting.
Yeah.
This is your husband's fight.
Thank you for acknowledging that, but go ahead. But here's what we're talking about.
I do want to say, he's not a doctor and he's not a professional.
Yes.
And oftentimes when he's talking, he is speaking not with the best information that we can get, because, we could do a lot better with health stuff. and there's a lot of stuff he can do. And some of the things he's suggested take it out of the hands of my doctor and me and my OBGYN and me. And I wonder, does it give you pause, and are you able to say, you know, that might not actually be so, because I've got my experience and I've lived with this and I'm still here. So are you able to have those conversations with her?
I am able to have those conversations. And just to be clear, 90% of secretaries of HHS have not been doctors.
But they've had a science
There have been
background.
3.
Yeah.
No, to be
You know
honest,
what? One of Obama's secretaries of HHS was an economist.
but
so
the majority of them that haven't had medical backgrounds have
Oh,
had
wait.
a science
Wait,
background.
don't
which
do
our husband
anything
doesn't
else.
have
Don't,
either.
don't say anything else yet.
'Cause I do
we
wanna-
have to take a break.
I want to respond to both of these coming at
Yes,
you.
yes.
have another segment.
We'll be
Okay.
right
Yeah.
back with more with Cheryl Hines.
And what she mean by HSS is basically it is a hospital for special surgery. It's a hospital with many doctors, including a large team of orthopedic surgeons and other specialists who focus on, many conditions, right? Uh, musculoskeletal and, different conditions when it comes to a whole thing. Like when it comes to orthopedic surgeons, foot and ankle surgeons, spine, sports medicine surgeons, you get the whole gist of it, right? But I want to talk about, most importantly, let's talk about this whole he's not a doctor argument, right? Because that's one of their favorite go-to deflections, because they say Robert F. Kennedy Jr. doesn't have a medical background, so his opinion on public health shouldn't count. Cool story, but here's the problem. Neither does the current Secretary of Health and Human Services, right? Nor did Obama's wait, sorry, family, HHS pick. One was a lawyer and the other one was an economist. Yet nobody batted an eye back then. Why? Because the game isn't about credentials; it's about control. And if you toe the line, you're an expert. And if you question the narrative, suddenly you're unqualified. And it's funny how that works, because Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has spent decades fighting companies like Monsanto and DuPont, companies that put toxins in our food and water, and got away with it until someone like him dragged them into court. And you'll think the so-called party of science will respect someone who's dedicated his career to holding powerful corporations accountable, but nah, they're too busy defending the exact system he's trying to expose. And that's the real reason they hate him. Not because he's wrong, but because he's not on their team.
Take the break because we had to go to break, but
Yes, but I just wanted to
Yes.
follow up. Because Bobby's background, everything I have seen him do, he has dedicated his career to suing big corporations because of toxins that have been affecting people's health, I should say. So, for instance, Monsanto. He was part of the team that sued Monsanto because of Roundup, a pesticide that was causing cancer.
With GMOs.
Right.
I know that.
He sued DuPont. He sued Exxon.
Correction, family. HHS is the Health and Human Sciences, but it deals with a lot of, different. It deals with health things and so forth like that. But look at Biden's. We don't want to talk about Biden's HHS pick, right? Because my thing is, I feel like you should model the very thing that you represent, right? And you should be a cultural fit, especially in your job and the culture and the sentiment around your job. And this was Biden's HHS pick, right? If you're going to model and actually stand up for the health in the country of America and Americans, then don't you think that you should be healthy yourself? Now, I'm just saying based on being healthy, right? Being fit. If they want to go there, they're saying that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is not a doctor, but at the end of the day, he does model a healthy lifestyle on top of the job that he obviously is positioned to be in, appointed by Donald Trump. So you have to live the very thing you're fighting for, I believe. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm not trying to belittle her or body shame this woman. I'm just saying the very thing is she was appointed by Biden. And at the end of the day, let me tell you in regards of Biden's pick. Her name was Rachel Levine, right? What was Rachel Levine? We just fact checking, right? Is she a doctor? She's a doctor. Cool. Now was Obama's HHS pick a doctor? There you go, family. We fact checked it. Now let's get back to it.
He sued the
GMOs.
right.
I know that.
He sued DuPont. He sued Exxon, and he sued these companies for health reasons because they were causing health problems.
But the
for
problem, respectfully, is that your husband is the least qualified Department of Health and Human Services head that we've had in history.
I do not.
I think that's a very dangerous.
Why is he less qualified than an economist?
I think
How is that
he
possible?
is less
He has spent
qualified.
his career studying toxins, studying people's health, fighting for one guy who was using Roundup for his job.
He has also spread a lot of misinformation, a lot of chaos, a lot of confusion, and I think it's just a very dangerous thing. And I say it with the utmost respect.
Some of it's good and some of it's not. That's the point.
Listen, we all have different views here.
Yes.
And when you say, misinformation, disinformation, we could go back to COVID when...
He's connecting circumcision to autism.
May I finish?
Please.
When Fauci people were saying when you get the vaccine, you cannot transmit COVID. It will stop COVID. And that was disinformation, misinformation.
We were also still learning about it. It was a novel virus we've never encountered before.
Right.
Whoa. We're not going to say still learning about it, because if you're still learning about it, you don't say something so extreme and so factual where Americans are trusting something in regards of it was a horrifying time. It was a time in American history that was a lot of things going on, and tension, emotions was high, tensions was high, and to say and full confidence to give some type of relief to Americans to feel as though that now the solution has been to the madness of so many lives being lost, and to say that, but then turn around and say, oh, well, it was still being figured out and we were still learning. Well, that basically contradicts the whole misinformation card that they're trying to throw at Robert F. Kennedy Jr. because they tried to hit Cheryl, his wife, with the misinformation card, another meaningless label that becomes the left's catch-all term for anything that challenges their worldview. But let's talk facts. Who actually spread the misinformation during the pandemic, right? Like you said, who told the people the vaccine will stop transmission? Who said get the jab and you won't get sick? Who censored doctors for saying masks didn't work, only to later admit that they might not? It wasn't Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It was the government. It was the media. It was the exact crowd now crying about disinformation. And here's what people need to understand. Asking questions is not dangerous. Blind loyalty is. And when someone like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says, let's make medicine safer, he's not telling people to burn down hospitals. He's saying maybe we shouldn't treat pharmaceutical companies like untouchable gods. That's not anti-science. That's pro-accountability. The only reason they're threatened by this is because so many people are waking up to the fact that they've been lied to, and we've been lied to, and not by random bloggers, but by the people in charge. And let's be honest, Cheryl Hines held it down better than most people could under that kind of pressure. She didn't flinch. She didn't play and run into the Victim Olympics and then start yelling. She just said she calmly laid out the facts, and that alone made them squirm.
Now the doctors will acknowledge that.
And
you
Dr.
can't-
Fauci has a medical
At the time, they were
degree.
censoring Bobby because Bobby said, where's the science to show us this? And there wasn't any. But people attacked him and said, you're wrong. So it's like, let's take a step back. I know that's your opinion, and that's okay.
Cheryl, one thing that I think we can all agree on, and you're a big fan of with
thank
his,
you.
is
What can we all
the
agree
MAHA
on?
movement, Make America Healthy Again. You praise your husband's campaign to make food and baby formula safer, which I think is something everyone can get on board with. Tell us about that.
Well, thank you. I am very proud of Bobby, and he has worked really hard to get a lot of petroleum-based food dyes out of our food, which also, and finish the thought, even baby formula, now we're finding out there's arsenic, there's lead.
There's lead,
The
yep.
question is, who is running HHS when they allowed lead and arsenic in a baby formula?
Ooh.
How is that person not
Well, two
dangerous?
wrongs don't make a
And
right.
Gerber and all that. Oh, move the goalposts. See how the lunch ladies move?
I'm
Ridiculous.
saying Bobby is the one getting this out.
I know,
You
good for him.
For
On
you know,
that, yeah.
Oh,
thank
shouts
you.
out to him on that. So then they want to give him slight credit. You see what I'm saying, man?
Can we
You can't
clear
give it.
one thing before you go?
Yes.
So they don't have to make any jokes about
They
it.
all
Does he or
quiet.
does he not have a brain worm?
It ate just a little bit of his brain and died, so don't worry.
So it's a dead brain
What?
worm.
What died? Wait, what? The brain died? Wait, wait.
It's a callback to the campaign.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, book. You've got to read my book. It's just you will. That was just one.
Well, look, man, she is definitely a reflection of her husband, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Shout out to the Kennedys, man. And I gotta say, man, she held her ground. And it's because people like her who use logic instead of volume, who stay calm in the face of emotional attacks, are dangerous to the mob mentality. You can't cancel someone who refuses to play your game. But what's really wild is how far the modern left has drifted. Remember when liberals were skeptical of big corporations, when they hated big pharma, protested GMOs, and warned us about chemicals in our food? That's literally RFK's whole career. But now the same people who used to chant power to the people are the mouthpieces for pharmaceutical companies and government control. RFK didn't change. The left did. And now standing for common sense makes you a radical. So yeah, Cheryl Hines walked in to a trap. She came out swinging with the truth, and the View thought they were going to corner her, embarrass her. Instead, they exposed their own hypocrisy. And this isn't about RFK being dangerous. It's about people like him and his wife being inconvenient in a society built on spin and censorship, and nothing is more dangerous than a person who calmly tells the truth, family. I hope you guys got some value from this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, we're here to have a conversation. I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. If you got this far in the video, give this video a big thumbs up. It helps crush that YouTube algorithm. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And lastly, but surely, I love you guys and I appreciate you always. Peace.